Some rap stuff.
All right, Grasshoppers. We're right on time today. Larry Melnick is Mr. Superstar. Like Dave and Ron and I show up a little early. We chat and converse about what's going on in life. But Herb just shows up right before the show. He's like that superstar, just so everybody knows what's going on.
Mel did say, Tommy, I'll be back.
Yeah, incognito. David, nice quiet day at the office yesterday?
Yeah, no, there in so many fronts. The last couple of days have been tough to take from. I even think just from a hockey standpoint, going right back to the Wilson episode, and we all have our opinions on, and we all played in a time where, it was, I don't know whether it was a little more rugged, we were a little stupider, tougher, whatever, and. The thing that
Dave, 1 second. I'll definitely add the stupider part. Okay.
No, the culture was different, but what I really upset me the most was Wilson's lack of understanding that the superstars in the league deserve to be treated differently, and for him to ragdoll on Panarin, a couple of things. If he knew it was Panarin, that's bad. And if he didn't know who he was throwing around, that's even worse.
Yeah,
because it just shows a bit of a behavioral thing.
Well,
and then for the league to kind of decide that, and then turn around the next day and Bushnevich is going to get a couple games, it sounds like, for last night. And then the kid Gossespierre in Philly. I don't know if you saw that play, but
I didn't see that. No.
Well, right, Grash, you tried. It was an empty net goal scored by Pittsburgh, Larry. And no, listen, the kid pushed him from behind. There's no question. But
that play, yes, yeah.
But on a relative basis, Wilson does what he does to Bushnevich for starters, and that's the $5,000, I guess.
Yeah.
But $5,000 to Tom Wilson, he tipped the waitress that the first 10 minutes they won the cup. So $5,000 is what are you doing?
I think the lead up to that, when Bushnevich was on the fucking, that bothers me a lot. When a guy like that is down, and your head's on the ice and you're pounding him from behind, like if you don't get suspended for that, what's a head hit?
Yeah, it's just beyond any.
You didn't punch him in the ass.
Yeah.
His head's on the ass.
Speaking of ass, Herb, how you doing?
Well, you want me to explain to you what incognito is, Tom?
Did you spell it right? I have to do spell check here. Yeah, you
it's spelled right. Don't worry. I asked Siri, and she's never wrong.
Yeah.
She is. I asked her how much money you have. She said, you have too much. You're spending it on your kids. I said, okay, I cancel Siri.
So what's going on, Mel? Something different happen, or is this just a continuation of the shows the past few weeks where people have been picking on you?
I wanted to camouflage myself because I'm probably going to say something that's going to get me in trouble, and I don't want anybody to know it's me.
Okay. So people suggested, somebody called me today, actually called me and said that, can I mute you at all if you get carried away? And I do have a mute button here. So
perfect. So it's kind of like Don Cherry on CBC. He had a 3-second delay so they could watch or listen to what he says, so he wouldn't get in shit. But
the good thing is most people can't understand what you're saying. So
exactly. No,
Dave, you want to talk, and they can talk over there. Like we'll just talk on our own.
I'm curious to hear what you're going to say.
Well, listen, we went through some shit that I am happy that the Rangers did something the next game, but the staged fights, like I love aggressive hockey. That little bobblehead Bettman has stifled the league to where you can't touch a person, you can't do anything without getting a suspension or worse, fined. Big deal. Yeah, they got lots of money. So what Wilson did was not right, but that's no different than Tim Hunter going after Wayne Gretzky and Semenko, Donnie Jackson, Marty McSorley going in and beating the shit, and we have a brawl. So is the stage brawl better than what Wilson did? I'm glad that they fought, and here's another thing. You had two guys that were standing there while Wilson is punching the guy, the goalie. Do you think Beezer or Bobby Froese or Ronnie Hextall would not have jumped in and tried to help with a blocker to the right head behind it to his head? Why didn't the
Well,
goalie do something?
The game has changed, Mel. I hear you.
Yeah, no,
We've talked about it. The game is bullshit. Simple.
well, from that, listen, that's the thing. From the perspective of those, it has changed. That is not both incidences. First of all, last night doesn't happen if they suspend Wilson. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. The league moves on. So the players to the day. So for a lot of the game, the players felt that they had to police themselves, but the league said, "Okay, no, we're not going to do that because we have too many instances." Right? And so you get a thing that's clearly warrants some sort of acknowledgement that he crossed the line. Now, going back to me, if it was as simple as grabbing a hold and whipping the best player's ass every night, well, Gretz would have blasted ever. I know he had deterrence, but it was the stuff. So it's, in this day and age, the top players are marketed differently. They're paid differently. The league treats them differently. And to have that happen to Panarin and not have anything, what if that happens in Canada and it's Johnny Gaudreau or Mitch Marner or Pedersen, the Swedish kid in Vancouver? I mean, I dread to hear.
Well, Dave, do you think it would have been handled differently if it was one of those guys?
The response, I do think, because I listen to the NHL radio, right? And there's too much alibying in today's game. I don't disagree with Larry. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. As Tom and I think we all agree, it's a different time. It's marketed differently. The paper here, the New York Times here in this area, all of that is, right? They don't cover the game, but sure enough, yesterday and today, their lead stories about everything that went on. And the league can't. Is that what you want your league to be? Is that what you want your league to be? And then that last night, have that happen? But to me, if Paros or whoever, I would love to just hear somebody say, how in the world did you come to that decision?
Yeah.
Most of the time you get this long-winded thing, and the safety committee has decided to suspend XYZ for 3 games. And you're like, oh.
But Dave, I think in fairness, it always is when they suspend somebody, they describe why they suspended, right? So there's no suspension here. So I don't think they have come out and said why they didn't suspend somebody. So
you're right. I mean, I just
in this case, you probably
I think both instances. I think the second. I think last night happens, and I like the fact that there's still the aspect of the game that Brandon Smith went after Tom Wilson, way out of his weight class, and Ryan Strome went after Eller for the comments Eller made in the pregame. And you know what? I hate to say it, but a couple of Canadian lads, I don't want to sound like Don Cherry, but that to me, a certain handle, I don't like where the game has gone in certain things, but there's still something there that the Rangers as a group were called out for not being tough enough. And you have last night.
Yeah. Yes.
So
I agree.
I guess where I'm going to disagree is we have seen and we have done a lot worse. Like just the example of Wayne Cashman, I said last week, spear chucking his stick and hitting Dean Hopkins in the eye and not getting suspension. That is what Wilson did. To me, what Wilson did was not that bad. It wasn't that bad. It's not like I just watched the YouTube on Dino Ciccarelli, that little prick used to score 50 goals a year. He reared back and punched the Chicago guy right over top of the referee, whatever, and there was a brawl. It was settled right then and there.
Well, our boy David here, we go back to Chicago where what's his name? O'Callahan comes down the ice, cracks Jesse right in the face, and there's brawl after that, right? It didn't even wait to stand around. And that was pretty vicious, and it was attended to right away, right? Yeah.
Right. So I guess at the end of the day, but what ultimately gets accomplished? What gets accomplished with all that?
Well, the thing that gets accomplished is, to me, as a team, when something happens to your teammate, two things. If you don't respond to it,
Yeah.
It's like now you're all looking at each other like, well, we're not great teammates, and you have to respond to show this is my teammate here. He's my brother. Like, you have to do something right away. But Mel, listen, you're not wrong at all. But and the game has changed. There's no question. And for us older guys, we probably like the old game really well. But this game is a great game today. It's just so much different. It's not. There's no comparison with anything in the game.
And the other thing too, in those days, when Wayne Cashman fired the stick, it wasn't on a national network broadcast. It wasn't accessible in 30 seconds on the internet. It wasn't. The game was very violent in a 6-team league. How about if Ted Green and Mackey, that stick swinging thing had happened today? Because the thing in those days, the only eyes that were there were the people that were in the building and the beat reporters who were writing about it. So when Ace Bailey gets hit from behind and gets basically paralyzed, his career is over in the old days. It raises there, but can you imagine stuff like that went on today? Yeah. I mean, so I think you have to be a little bit kind of sensitive and aware that it's a changed world. The stuff we used to get away with, we got away with because, first of all, nobody was paying attention to hockey in most places in those days, other than the big markets. And now it's a different world. It's a different time, and the league has to be a little savvier when it comes to that. I get. Now, at the end of the day, what did the Rangers accomplish last night? And your point was well taken, because they had the media conference today with Chris Drury and Glenn Sather. And Sather mentioned, or he was asked about just this kind of stuff. And the first thing he responded was exactly what Tom was saying, how it does galvanize a group. It brings a group together. So where it goes,
So help me out then, guys. Help me out, because like I just said, I didn't think what he did was that bad. Right?
What Wilson did?
Yeah. It wasn't like he broke his stick over a guy's arm, or he, like some of the suspensions that the guys are getting for headshots. To me, those are perfectly good hits. And the guy gets hurt.
No, but they've got rid of headshots on Mel.
But no, Tom. But what are these people watching when they go on? These idiots in Toronto or wherever Perros is living, when they go over the video and they see these headshots, and we look at it and say, "Holy shit, that was shoulder to shoulder!" But with the speed of the game, it looked like a headshot. But they go back and they say, "It's close enough to his shoulder. Bounce off his shoulder, hits his head, and he gets suspended." That's bullshit.
Well, they do have.
You're a subject. Well, that's the thing too. Is with the concussion awareness, and nobody really knows exactly player to player and the science of it all. So our brains are all wired specific to who we are, right? So I'll tell the story of the kid. He was a second-round pick of the Rangers, defenseman. Yeah, 2005. Kid whose brother played football. He got hit by Kostitsyn in Montreal in February of whatever year it was. Got absolutely drilled from behind into the boards. Nothing. He played the rest of the year. And Phaneuf, 1st of December the following year, basically a flyby, nips him in the chin, done. Career was done.
That's sour, right there?
Yeah, sour. Right. So, and the awareness of concussion, like that's the only thing. And listen, our frame of reference is what it is because that's what the life was like for us.
Yeah. But
the circumstances are different, and I'm guessing an owner or whatever, when they get together, say, "Okay, I'm in this business, but I get out of this business, and 10 years down the road, there's a class action lawsuit, and we didn't do everything we could to protect." We do what we can to protect the game, protect the athletes playing, and I'm found to be liable 10 years down the road because somebody found or whatever. Now, I don't know verbatim but those are the different things I think when you have to look at why the game is where it is when it comes to what we knew it as.
Right.
It's changed. The times have changed. It's a much bigger
Like
business.
you think back to Scott Stevens. His play was to hit in the head. I mean, that was a legal hit when Stevens was doing all his hits, right? That was perfectly fine. I mean, he ended Eric Lindros's career. So listen, Mel, you're not wrong. I just think you're right. Dave is they're doing what they need to do, both protect the players and protect their own interests too, right? From a business standpoint. So listen, I would bet you, I know this is probably not a popular thing to say, but I would bet you all of us have CTE from the way we played the game before. We had multiple concussions and
Absolutely.
So.
I would head first into the boards in Washington. I'll never have Mike Marsden chasing down an icing. And I clipped the skates out from behind. I went head first into the boards. And they had they were the first that had the big screen up in the middle.
Yeah.
Like they had a screen in the middle of the old Capitol Center.
Yep.
Going off, you're like, oh my God, how in the world, you take a look at that again, But we all did what we did, and that's what I say now. Like for us, it was a badge of honor to play hurt.
Yeah.
The difference now, these kids, and that's the way it is. They're like, there's any little tweak, they're out. They're out. But they've got multi-million-dollar careers to think about, and it's different. It's a different time, and I think that's the management. If you're right in the middle now, being more old school like our generation, which a lot of the guys who are running the team are still of our generation, and now you have to kind of keep in mind that really it's different now. It's different. The athlete's different. They advocate for their health. They've been probably pampered or entitled all the way along. And now a guy can come in after 2 years and demand to be traded.
So you guys clear the air for me. Is what he did, and again, I don't think what he did was that bad.
Mm-hmm. Well,
should it have been a suspension? And if so, why? Compared to a headshot, which I think is worse, or breaking, like I said, break his stick over a guy's ankle like Bobby Clark did to the Russians or whatever.
Well, he did have Busnevich down on the ice, hit face first, punched him in the back of the head. And then you could almost say he didn't know it was Panarin the first time he threw Panarin down. But then he picked Panarin up again and body slammed him down the ice. And he'd pulled his hair trying to slam his head down too. So
but that was two lollipops to the back of the head. He didn't rear back and give it to him. So was it suspendable, or in your opinion, like really?
Yeah. Yes. In this day and age, it was suspendable.
Well, and remember, he'd already gotten suspended several times, I think 5 times before. Just the same season, he was suspended 7 times. So it's not some guy that says he just lost his temper one time. This guy's got a history of trying to hurt people out there.
Well, that's a bit of the issue. You see, they can't. Every case is wiped clean. It starts from ground zero.
No, doesn't he have like an 18-month window there where he's a repeat offender if he gets?
I was told yesterday that it had no. But I'm trying to remember. Talked to a few people. I can't remember whether the person I talked to was accredited enough to know. The only thing is that I would, Larry, for me personally, because it was one of our guys, my guy, I would first of all admit to being biased to it. But I thought if I'm watching that, and we know the circumstance of who it was, the perpetrator. And it was, like I said, Johnny Gaudreau or Mitch Marner. Now, he's not going to do it to McDavid. He's not going to throw McDavid around. He's a bigger man. And the thing about Wilson, when you think about his role in the game, like who he is as a player, and for me personally, I'm done saying every team would love to have him because he's the one guy that could seriously hurt somebody in this day and age, right? So, and what happens then, if Kreider's in the lineup, he's on the power play. Kreider's not going to fight him, but he's not. Wilson's not going to throw him around.
Right.
Come on, big strong guy. He's not. So the circumstances are: here's this guy in this role who's good enough as a player to be a penalty killer, and it's like, and that's what bothers me. Is like Washington doesn't. Maybe they do. Maybe they take him aside and say, Tom, what are you doing? You're killing your career, let alone. And that discipline will probably kill the Caps, or lack of, somewhere down the road. That lack of discipline.
Well, and like the total lack of respect for the game and the team. Like when he went to the penalty box and he's flexing the penalty box too, it's kind of like, what a goof.
Come on.
You know, it's just
There's
that guy.
there might be two guys in the league. There's two teams in the league, and there might be more, or whoever. For me, he's not going to get away with that in Vegas because of Ryan Reeves.
Yeah.
And he probably, if the guy Johnson on the island, if he's in the lineup, he's probably not going to get away with that. But neither one of those guys are going to be on the power play.
Yeah. Gresh, what's the kitchen's looking clean there, bud?
My daughters are here.
So, Gresh, you've been quietly in the background. Just give us one observation.
I'm just listening to you guys. I just think that the change of hockey was coming for a long time with all the stuff that happened in the 70s. And I mean, the 70s was disgusting. The 80s were bad, were really bad. The 90s were bad. Then it started getting cleaned up. But you can't have guys. I mean, what was the guy that played for the Atlanta Flames way back then? I think last name was Graves or something like that.
Hilliard Graves.
Hilliard Graves. He used to go after guys' knees when you're coming around the net. He used to go after your knees. I remember one time we were playing, and I picked the puck up and I go behind the net, and he comes smoking in, and I knew he was going for my knees, so I gave him the old Carol Vadnais shuffle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Can't move that fast, so it was just one of these,
mm-hmm.
and he never did that again. No penalties called.
That is true, guys. Like Wilson would not be doing what he did in the 80s, right? Or the 70s or the 90s. He just wouldn't do that because there'd be 3 or 4 guys on the other team that would beat the crap out of him. Yeah.
Could you imagine doing that in the 80s, which we all played in, against the Oilers, against the
the Flyers, the second generation Flyers, Bruins.
How about Detroit? Like it would kosher. I mean, I remember one time I almost dropped my gloves with kosher, eat it away, and I was like he's from Saskatchewan, so Saskatchewan boys are kind of a bond. And he skated away, and somebody goes, "What were you doing?" I go, "I have no freaking idea. Like, maybe I want to get my nose straightened out or something."
Hey, Mel, sorry. I know we were contractually obligated to question you a little bit here to make sure you're the star of the show. What are you wearing today for Cologne?
So we're off the Rangers. We're done.
No, we can go back. You have a contract with us, and there's certain requirements we have to fulfill.
Well, I was thinking about the Americans in New York. So today is American Eagle, just a T-shirt, long ball cap because I don't have my Rangers cap yet.
You haven't gotten that? You've been to your mailbox?
No. And again, you can't be, your outfit is not complete without a bracelet, a Tissot watch, a little orange because it's summertime, so you brighten up your colors a little bit.
Yeah.
Hugo Boss perfume and a little sunshine in the background up on Melnick Mountain.
Is there any word in the world that rhymes with orange? Stop the pen.
Yeah, no.
There's none.
The touching part of the ensemble are the shades. Now, are they designer shades or just?
No. Yeah, my first wife, again, unlike, he works for.
Unlike.
Yeah.
Unlike the other 3 morons. That's what he wanted to say, but he was trying to be nice today. Okay, go ahead.
For Port Moody Optical, so she's an optician. She works a whole 2 days a week, unlike Pamela, I think works every day, correct? So Pamela, whatever. So these are prescription.
They are.
There's 3 top. That's another topic we can get into. You have to have the sun shining. You truck drivers, they always wear sunglasses, right, Tom?
No.
And usually they're black. So you got the Pradas, you got the Ray-Bans, and probably the best sunglass in the world is the Maui Jims.
Who?
Maui Jim.
Yeah.
Maui Jim.
Maui Jim.
And then, so I've got about 15 pairs of sunglasses. And
can I get those at Costco, the Maui Jims?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
You can buy anything at Costco.
Okay.
I'm going to Costco right after this to go buy a bunch of stuff. And then, Dave, you got golf-specific sunglasses, too, with pink. Yeah. Hey, Podwell. That's a good – just reminding me of something. I like this guy. I got to meet him. He's in Florida. But you get golf specific, like you get a pink lens or a green lens, gray lens, and believe me, it sharpens up the.
Well, that's what Nicholas is wearing now, right? Isn't he wearing the, those high tech?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what brand, but
it's helping his game a lot.
No, what's with the? Listen, I'm sorry, but the bracelet thing kind of throws me off a little bit.
And the tattoo. Don't forget about the tattoo, Tom.
With the bracelet and the orange watch.
Hey, so Podwell thinks my wife's doing the oil changes. She said no, I had to go do it myself. But this morning I helped out Pamela again because I know she gets a commission. I went on and someone said, I think it was Podwell or Jameson or somebody said I should buy a New York Ranger barbecue cover. So I went online this morning and I thought, well, I haven't had a barbecue cover in years. You don't want to cover up $1,000 barbecue. So instead, for the convertible, pardon?
Especially when your wife buys it too, she gets insulted by that.
Well, who paid for it, Tom? Anyways, so
family money. It's not separate.
She did with her 3/4.
Well, here's the thing. My accounts are joint with her. Her accounts are joint with nobody.
Is that the way it works?
Oh, yeah. That's the way it works.
That's what my first wife did right before we got divorced. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, for the convertible, I ordered 2 car floor mats for the Beamer. They'd be here on, what's today? Wednesday? They'd be here on Thursday.
So are they Ranger floor mats or
pardon?
They're not Ranger floor mats.
Yeah, New York Ranger floor mats.
Really?
Oh shit! You can buy anything on Amazon. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. I bought these. Look, I bought these.
Did you get the convertible fixed?
No, the part. I talked to Felipe from BMW. The part's supposed to be in any day now. So.
Oh, that's been like 3 weeks, right? They've been stringing you along pretty good.
Well, the part comes from Germany. The car runs. The top just doesn't go down. So it's kind of a useless car, right?
Well, what? Because the top doesn't go down?
Well, yeah. What the hell you want a convertible if the top can't?
Well, you still drive it with the top up.
Well, I could, right? But when it's 75 or 80 degrees out, I'd like the top down.
Right. So you just tan those arms.
Yeah.
Tan those strings hanging off your shoulders there.
Top down too with the shades on. Now the shades work. You get the designer shades.
Arnold
Melnick.
Hey, so Tom, I was talking to I sent a drone out again. Sent a drone out just to see what was going on in the what do you call it, tri-state area. Yep. Somebody said, and I'm not going to tell you who, that you owned a big yacht at one time as well.
Is Mr. Spizzano talking to you directly? It wasn't a yacht. It was not a yacht. I had a boat. Yep. Have you guys ever had boats? You guys experienced with boats?
We have a boat.
Okay. Is it a twin screw, Dave? Like one propeller or two?
It's twin. It's actually my youngest son. We were all, it's one.
Okay. So the one I had one propeller on it. So if you're learning to back up a boat, when you have 2 propellers, you can use the propellers to help you back up the boat in the right direction you want to go. But we only had one propeller, so it was always an adventure. We were trying to dock the boat. We had that boat placed right off exit 5. You see it from the bridge there.
Yeah, that's where we have ours too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And our boat slip was right by the office there. So I went upstairs one day to pay a bill. And they said, "How's it going?" I said, "Well, we're having a little issue backing up, but we're getting it down." And they said, "Oh, we know. Every time you come in now, we come and watch you back it in because it's always entertaining to watch you back the boat in."
Yeah.
You didn't learn that in truck driving school, huh?
Yeah. I can back a truck in anything. Yeah. I can back it downhill even with brakes on.
No.
What's going on in Mel's Mountain, anyways?
Mel's Mountain.
Mel's Brokeback Mountain.
Not much. Just golfing pretty much every day. I got over the depression of the tax last week, so I had to make some money this week. That's about it.
Okay, I got a question for you guys.
Oh yeah, nice.
If you're in a room with all the people you ever met in your life, right? Who's the one person you'd seek out to talk to?
Well, I have the advantage of thinking about it because Gresham mentioned it to me before the show, so I'm ready to go. So my grandfather is the one person I talked to. So growing up, I don't know how you guys were, people around it. I don't think I appreciated what a great person he was. The work ethic and attention to detail and how he lived his life and everything. And it's one of the things, like for me now, going through all this True Grit Life stuff and doing a book, it's made me look back at stuff. And he was realize what a great person he was. So that's it for me.
I might seek out my father. My father died. He died in 2013, but I was basically gone from home when I was 14. And I mean, he was pretty important younger, but as I got older, it wasn't like wasn't a relationship, but I wished I'd known him a little better as an adult.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like I'm the oldest of 7, and we're all pretty independent. And they, imagine parenting 7, So yeah, that's a good one, Gresh. And I'm glad you let off the way you did, Tommy. You gave me kind of a thing of thought, but
yeah,
honestly, it might be my father. Just to revisit him more as an adult.
Yeah. Don't you look back at it now differently as an adult? You've had kids and everything, and you appreciate who he is. Yeah.
Right. That's my answer.
What about you, Mel?
Well, I think, growing up in the 60s in Saskatchewan, we didn't have a lot. I've mentioned that before, but we had everything that we needed, right?
Right.
And if you did something wrong, the belt would be on the doorknob. You either got it or you were threatened to get it. And I think that's where a lot of respect, and you think we're all very respectful of people, but if people piss us off, then they're going to get it. And I'm very opinionated, believe it or not. And
I wish you'd start bringing that.
Yeah, really. Don't hide that, Mel.
Yeah, really. Maybe you can add something here.
But growing up, I respected people until a point where I think hockey changed my personality, in that it became a business, and my personality changed. Like, I was very quiet in my first 3 years in the league. And then, when I got to New York and especially Vancouver, became assistant captain. Like I spoke up a lot more, and I said a lot of things I probably shouldn't, and I still do. And like I said, I have a number of people that if I see them face to face, I will get even with them. And that's a bad thing to harbor. Tom, you got to kind of let bygones be bygones, but I don't. So
you mean you're holding a grudge, you mean?
Yeah, I'll hold a grudge until I die.
I think that's a little excessive, because I don't hold a grudge till I die. I told my kids a week after I'm dead, they can forgive the people that I didn't like. A week after I'm dead.
So the guy that my parents, I miss them to this day, right? Mm-hmm. But the guy that I played with him is Gretz.
Just checking that mute button to make sure it really works. It does.
So the guy that I'd really want to talk to, and the guy that's got a photographic memory, and the guy that I even get a little nervous when I see him now, is Gretz. So, what was the question, Tom? Ron?
I can't remember. Well, it used to be so quiet and everything. Now he's just ramble.
Soliloquy, remember? Soliloquy.
No, let's go ramble.
Yeah.
Gresh, who's yours?
That'd probably be my father too. And I had a great relationship with him. I left home when I was 15, but we were a very close family. And then he passed away in '99, just when I knew I was having my first kid, and he never got to meet him because he was a great grandfather to his other grandchildren. And he was a lot of fun to be around. I mean, me and him had many a drink together, gambled together. I spent his last couple of years of his life in the 70s. I spent a lot of time with him, weeks and weeks and weeks in Palm Springs. And we went and gambled every day. Who cares? We wasn't like we got home, we lost a bunch of money or we won a bunch of money. It wasn't anything about that. It was just he didn't drink the last, I think, 4 or 5 years of his life. So I made up for that when we were out. But I remember one time we were in a casino called Fantasy Springs in Palm Springs. We got to the casino for lunch. We had lunch and we started gambling, right? And so my mother hooks up with this one, what do we call it, slot machine thing? Like at 7 o'clock. She wants to win the jackpot. So at 12:30, my father was tired. I drove him home. I came back, and me and my mother walked in at 6:30 in the morning. She finally won the jackpot at 6:15. We come walking in, and my father comes out of the bedroom. He goes, "Oh, you guys are awake already? Oh yeah, Dad, we got an early start on today." He was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah." My eyes looked like they were like this. But, that'd be the one person. It was just his whole thing was hockey. That's all he ever loved. He skated one day in his life on his first date with my mother in 1941 or 42. Never skated again. So that's it. Okay.
Mel, what do you got for notes? Anything? What's happening?
Just on that, when we grew up in Saskatoon and Winnipeg, most of the dads were the coaches, right? There wasn't anybody else. So, we'd always drive. My dad would drive 2 or 3 guys, and he'd teach me. Well, he obviously didn't teach me that well because I could never skate to my right. But anyways, he helped me. We used to go out and we'd go play shinny on a Saturday from 8 in the morning, and my dad would make homemade hamburgers and deep fried homemade French fries in the big crock pot in actual oil. Was it ever good? So, what was the question, Tom?
I remember one time when I was about 11 or 12 years old, and we were going to play a game like 30 miles away. So my dad and his best friend, this guy John Rollizer, was in the passenger seat, and my friend Vern was in the middle, and 3 of us were in the back. And they're driving like this 30 miles, and they're about 2 miles out of town. And my dad points to Big John. He opens up the glove compartment. Remember the cars in glove compartments?
Yeah.
Opens it up. Out comes a bottle of whiskey. They're passing it back and forth, driving to the game. I go, "Oh, I love hockey."
Well,
Mel, how about, okay, let's get on your stuff here. Did you manscape?
No, still on that. So remember the old stubby beer bottles, the Labatt's Blue, the stubby round ones from the 60s and 70s. Well, I don't know if this is a good story or not, but my uncle would drive from Saskatoon down to Yuma, Arizona every year and he'd go down for 4 or 5 months. And he'd start having a stubby beer at 7:30 in the morning, just a couple, on the way to, and we used to throw the beer bottles into the ditch, right?
Yeah.
So, no, I didn't manscape, Tom. I haven't manscaped in 2 weeks. And to be honest with you, last Thursday, I played through the pain and I wasn't feeling well, and you couldn't even notice. I never missed a step.
You are a machine, I'll tell you. You're a trooper.
Yeah, I know.
What was wrong with you? Did you have a cold or something? That's why you had to crack nails.
What happened with that? What was the beer bottles driving to Yuma and to do with landscaping or manscaping?
Well, no, you're talking about your dad bringing out the whiskey bottle going to hockey. So I'm just telling you about how.
Well, they had the glove compartment was full. One bottle.
Yeah, it was really Gresh just asked one simple question, like, who would you search for? Like, and we've been going for an hour now talking about your family history.
No, those guys started talking about their fathers, so I thought I'd talk about my dad and my uncle.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a lot of people calling in still wanting us to talk more about JD and everything. And we did cover, just by knows, I mean, JD's a great friend of ours, and we're all sad for that it's happened to him, but that is the game of hockey too. And JD will land on his feet someplace else too. So
yeah, if he chooses. I mean, at that stage, I mean, I'm guessing their severance or contract is still in play. So from a financial standpoint, and Jeff Gorton, they're both good hockey, they're good people, and that's it. Most guys, I think, most people in the business are pretty good. We come across some that aren't quite as good as others, but but we all have shelf lives, right? Even as players, we had some played a little longer than others. Yager's still playing in the Czech Republic, and some shelf lives last, when they're peewees. And I think it's the same with the executives, with the management. It's just
I don't understand that firing at all. The team is going in the right direction. There must have been some underlying issue or something, because that made no sense at all.
Well, so people like Mark Messier made some. Susan up here, she asked a question about Mark Messier's comments. Their teams are wrong one. Teams are constructed in all different ways, right? And different ways of being successful. Some people have, putting bigger, strong teams together. Some smaller, fast. And obviously, the owner Mr. Dolan did not like the direction the team was going in, and made the move. And that's, again, we all feel bad for JD. I know Jeff Gorton a little bit. Dave knows him. He's a great guy too. He'll land on his feet someplace else. But I hate to say it, that is the game. It's, people get fired and hired all the time. But
especially too. And listen, Mr. Dolan gets scrutinized fairly negatively, right? But I will say, when it comes to doing things first class, the right way, and you think about also too, had to buy out Lundqvist, then they got to eat Tony DeAngelo's money. You buy out, and I think the owner at the end of the day, and there was always an issue, how patient was everybody going to be with where the Rangers were heading? And I don't think there's anybody that hasn't in hockey that hasn't said they really like what's going on with the Rangers. They're heading in the right direction. But the one guy that's going to determine how quickly or where it's going to go happens to be the owner. And,
right.
Even when it got to labor issues, for me, I think you kind of have to respect that the owners do have a vested interest in what's going on. And so, well,
and they I think you guys agree too, they were getting pushed around. But I think at the stage of their development, I think they have to have those spots for young kids to play. And I think JD and Jeff Gorton are smart enough to know that at some point the toughness, the grittiness has to change. They have to add more of that to the lineup. That may come from the young guys themselves. They may become that. But at this point, yeah, I mean, when they were getting pushed around and losing games because they're getting pushed around, then, Mr. Dolan decided, well, that's enough of that.
Well, it sounds like the game that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back was when Trouba got concussed on the island. He got hit by Matt Martin, and there was really no pushback. I mean,
Hey, was it bad? I didn't see the hit. I didn't see that.
No,
part.
it was
legal hit.
It was a hit that it was an old school hit. He just happened to be in the wrong spot, the wrong time, and so I think to me, at the end of the day, the owner has every right to do what he thinks he needs to do. And having worked this, I'm doing my 16th season under this, the circumstances. And I will tell you, a lot of times he gets unfairly scrutinized because he pays people. They travel first class.
Yeah.
They're the number one valued franchise in the league. So until you're the owner,
So JD was there
2 years.
2 years.
Dave, I think you're right. A few years ago, he hired Phil Jackson, I think, right?
Right.
And then everybody's saying, well, I hope he stays out of it. He stayed out of it for like 3 years. And they're going like, why isn't he doing something now?
Yeah. And again,
what's the cat's name?
That's my daughter's cat.
His name, daughter's cat?
My daughter's cat.
My daughter's cat.
Stayed here for 12 days. So on vacation.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at good places.
Listen, at the end of the day, two good guys moved on. Chris Drury's very highly thought of. He's got to kind of manage the issue. Glenn Sather's still involved because he was really been the guy over time that has the relationship with the owner that he's proven. You hear people say, well, Sather did this and he did that. And, I know we all have opinions of people, but I just, it is what it is. And you just,
And I didn't know Drury had, they wanted to hire him in Florida, right? And he was in a job too, huh?
Yeah. Florida, Minnesota asked to interview him. Buffalo asked to interview him. So
is he a New York guy?
He's from Connecticut.
Yeah, Connecticut.
He's a kid who won that World Series, Little League World Series, the pitcher for Trumbull, Connecticut. He's a bit of an institution out of Trumbull and out of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Not that, have you ever been to Colony Pizza? Have you been to this place?
Yeah.
Colony
Pizza? I've been to one in Portchester there too. I was doing the old one in Stanford too. Yeah.
Stanford, yeah. So he bought into that, and he got all kinds of money. The Rangers, eventually bought him out, and that's the thing along the way. The owner said he's eaten a lot of money salary to facilitate what's.
And a lot of people give Sather a lot of crap, but he's done a lot. I mean, for the alumni, for guys, for the
Sather does try to have that gropey. He's like Mel. He tries to have that grouchy attitude all the time. But unlike Mel, he's really a nice guy behind the scenes, right? He's actually
wouldn't be any words spoken, but it would be good. But
yeah, did you imagine Mel and Sather in the room together at the same time? Oh, grouchy.
I'm not sure. It seems to me over the course of our get-togethers there that there might be a bit of an issue with that relationship with our pal Larry and Slats.
Well, the two like brothers.
Larry on the spot, but
they're like brothers. They're from the Grouchy family.
They're brothers.
Yeah, they're brothers. They found out they were brothers.
Yeah. Well, if you see him, tell him he needs a shave.
Okay.
That boat was a new look for him.
Oh, here he is. Mel's little buddy. Mel's little butt buddy. Yeah. Had to chime in there. Oh, Mel, you're the best. I love you, Mel. Oh, please friend me.
Hey, Ron, did you have a community barbecue last week or not? Tommy, hey, I'm Tommy Laidlaw, Johnny Cash. Hey, come on, let's have a barbecue. I'll bring it.
Where'd that come from? I missed that. I forgot that. What?
Barbecue? I had barbecue, yeah, but it wasn't with anybody that I knew.
Yeah, barbecue with a bunch of
Nobody complains. The meat's too well done or not done well enough. The baked potatoes aren't right. It's very fun. Oh my God! Everybody, shut up. Get happy. But
I did a top sirloin with in the cast iron the other day, and with some mushroom and onion with a little what do you call it? Half and half cream, and some shrimp on top. Holy was that ever good?
Did Rochelle make that, or you did it?
No, I did. Yeah, I did.
He made one plate, only one plate of it for himself.
No, she was at work, so I left her some. But how often, Tom, do you have to?
You didn't wait for your wife.
A little bowl or something like that for her.
No, my son and I ate first, and when she came home, she didn't come home till after 6, so we ate at 5, and it was.
You couldn't wait for 1 hour for your wife to come home and eat.
No, Oprah says you're not supposed to eat after 5.
Oprah said, there's some good advice from Oprah. What is she weighing now? Like 300 pounds? What? Come on. Your wife's at work and you and your son go ahead and cook a meal. You couldn't wait for 1 hour to come home from work and cook for her.
He was hungry. I was hungry, Tom.
Man,
eat when you're hungry. So the question, if you stop interrupting me, Tom.
Well, I'm concerned for your wife and her treatment.
Yeah, me too.
She's in good shape. She's not starving, okay?
Hey, Larry, you can listen to us 3 experts on relationships. So.
Yeah. You can tell we eat many times by ourselves.
Yeah. So how many times are you supposed to season the cast iron? After every cooking?
No, you don't ever season it.
Of course you
seasons itself. It seasons itself by all the meats and everything you cook on it.
Yeah.
You're going to learn something right now, Tom.
Who taught you something else? Oprah?
No. Who's the blonde out of Connecticut?
Toronto, Connecticut.
Yeah, all the
Only one.
they went to jail for
Martha Stewart.
Martha says you use Crisco, you got to season it. You Crisco, you put it on the whole cast iron. You put it in the oven upside down for 1 hour to make it nice and.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You get diet advice from Oprah Winfrey. You get other advice from a jailbird.
Yeah,
who's been in jail.
Yeah. So you see where this is going.
Yeah, some good.
What kind of advice you get from John Gotti?
Yeah, really. You get investment advice from what's his name? That just died.
Madoff.
Bernie. Oh, come on.
I know.
Madoff, right?
Yeah. You get investment advice from him too, right?
Yeah. That was a perfect name, though, right? Made off with your money, like.
All right, so let me go through this again. So you get investment advice from Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
You get advice how to season skillets from a woman who spent time in jail. You get diet advice from Oprah Winfrey, who's got a little bit of a weight issue.
Yep.
Both sides.
Right. On both. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
How about your lubrication? Have you been lubricating your hands so you don't get those vicious cracks in your fingers?
And these 3 guys are trying to give him marital advice.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we know how not to do it.
Yeah. You know all the don'ts.
Yeah, so evidently that's what we should have done. We all should have ate like an hour before Mama came home, or leave the food in a bowl out front or something like that.
Sleep in another bed.
Yeah, sleep in separate rooms, separate life.
Yeah, you have to look at the positive, Tom. I actually made her supper. She came home. She didn't have to cook anything. I had all the dishes done. It was made for her. I'm thinking.
So when she came home and had to eat by herself. Was she okay with that?
Well, I sat with her and watched her eat. Hey, how was your day? Is there anything else I can do for you? Would you like a glass of wine? You want me to rub your shoulders?
I bet you did. I bet. We got to get her on the show. There's just no possible way that's going on.
How many years have you been married, Mel?
1989. What is that?
That's how long you've been married? That's a long time.
32 years? 31
years. Wow, good for you.
We're going to work on Mel answering questions. So Gresh asked him how long he'd been married. He goes 1989.
Well, I wanted you to do the math because aren't you an accountant?
No, I did go to Harvard or the Midwest, so.
Yeah, badminton.
So why no manscaping here? I thought you would kind of.
Because I was sick. And I really didn't give a shit. And then I had to go golfing, and I just haven't had the time. And I fertilized the grass, make sure it's green, that type of stuff.
Here, Ira's an accountant and money guy too. He figures it's 11 years you've been married. Good job, Ira.
He's the CEO of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
But
no wonder it doesn't make any money. It's a nonprofit, all right.
Yeah.
Can't do math. David, what's on the? Did you plant those flowers the other day?
No, they're probably coming in. I'm either going to clean out my garage tomorrow.
Want to help with that?
If you're in the neighborhood, I'll have the guards let you in.
Yeah.
I thought that's bad. No, we got the Pesky Rangers play the Bruins tonight, so get work tonight, and then depending on the weather. The weather's not supposed to be great this weekend.
No,
it's kind of cold and rainy.
Yeah.
So, but the flowers will get in next week. I'll have lots of time next week. So the flowers will be in next week.
Good.
That's a good time to fertilize the acreage. Get in your little lawnmower and hook up a little fertilizer spreader in the back and just go for a little jaunt.
Is that what Rochelle does?
No, she's changing the oil on the cars.
Right. But on Mount Melnick.
Yeah. Mount Brokeback.
It's all natural stuff.
Melnick Brokeback Mountain.
I see trees outside there, Mel. Those evergreens, or they always stay green?
That's evergreen. Yes, Ron. Yep. Evergreen. Cedars.
Oh, yeah.
Cat's on the move, Gresh. The cat's on the move. Look out.
Hey, Ron, you mentioned something about cats last week. I'm surprised you have one in your house.
I don't have one.
Good two.
You have two.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, are those little Tupperware things you got food in on the?
Yeah, I got them yesterday, Tom. And
Very organized. That's nice.
different cereal. I got.
Look at how organized you are there. Oh,
Well, I don't like bags, things in bags. Like I don't like cereal when you roll it back up, put it in a box or something like that. Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Is that because Captain Crunch cereal?
I don't know what the hell they're all. I don't buy it. They buy it.
those all different kinds of cereals?
No, they're all the same one, Tom.
You got a deal on the containers. Went to Costco. I had to buy 100 of them.
I went to Costco. No, they don't have everything at Costco. They don't have these at Costco.
Yeah, I've never seen those. What is that? What's in there?
Apple cinnamon shreddies.
Oh, shredded wheat.
Yeah.
Oh, Mel, do you eat that?
Why not?
My kids love that. They love it. And
Yeah, the kids eat, but Mel should eat that.
I got Frosted Flakes.
Nice. See through. Look at that person behind you there. Hey, get out of there.
Oh, there's the other cat. She's right there.
What's that cat's name?
These are like some kind of like what the hell are they called? There's a box in here. Oh, Reese's Puffs.
Okay, Dave, what's your favorite cereal?
Cheerios. The oat Cheerios, the ones that come in the purple box.
I'm gonna get. I like those too. I'm gonna get a box of those.
Yeah.
What's your favorite cereal? Fruit Loops?
No, Captain Crunch. I'll mix 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm mixed too. Yeah.
Oh.
So you want to get something with a little bit more sugar than Captain Crunch? I mean,
I'll have I'll put 1 sugar in, so a frosted flake, and then the dry shreddies, just one with sugar, and then milk, and then a banana or blueberries or something.
You put sugar into your cereal?
Tom, were you not listening? No, I do not.
You said you put sugar in.
I said I put 1
sugar
cereal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
God.
1 piece or like a bunch of multiple.
All right. Gosh, what's your favorite cereal?
I don't know. I like some Frosted Flakes once in a while. I like Cheerios. I like my favorite breakfast is oatmeal with bananas and cherries, blueberries, whatever on it, strawberries.
Hey, got any juiced potatoes in there?
Listen to me. I like potatoes. Okay, I eat them raw, and I eat almost 1 raw potato every night. I cut it up. I sit and watch TV, and I eat.
You eat a raw potato?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you eat a raw potato? Why'd you cook it?
I've always liked them.
Oh,
I've always liked raw potato. I like. You know what I like? I like the beets. Make raw beets. You cut them up. Let's put a touch of that fake salt on them. I like asparagus, all that crap. I like it all. I sit there and eat that at nighttime when I get hungry. Tom, when you're doing your fast starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 1 o'clock the next day, 24 hours, I'm eating that stuff. No, I like it. Well, what's wrong with raw potatoes?
How's it going with the juicer?
It's going the same way it did last Thursday. It's on its way.
Okay.
On its way.
Listen, hey, Gresh, I hate to say it, but it's like Mel's hats and it's Ranger stuff, right?
They're on their way too.
Well, I took responsibility for that. I forgot.
I'll take it back, Dave. No, Dave, it's my turn for the next month. Come on.
So Mel, do you ever eat any meals with your wife? Or you eat separately?
Well, we eat together, Tom, but our schedules are a little different. So.
Yeah, your schedule is just eat whenever you want and don't wait for your wife.
Well, sometimes she'll eat at 3:30, and I don't want to eat till 5 or 5:30. So it just depends, Tom. But in this household, there's 4 people, and there might be on any given day or night 4 different meals being made. So it's a bit chaotic, but that's what we do.
Yeah, when my kids are here, it's the same way. Like I eat at 5:30, 6 o'clock whenever I want, around that time. They eat 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
O'clock in the morning, they're making food. So she's not paying it.
Oh, he's on the edge there. Is he with Mel or is he not?
Pretty funny, actually.
Have you friended him yet, Mel?
Nope. I've friended nobody.
Oh.
Dave, what time are you going to the city?
Probably I'll hit in shortly. I got a little prep work to do. So, thing is, traffic's you leave at 4:30, and if I leave at 4:30, I'll be on the west side at 5:15.
Wow.
Just the traffic is non-existent.
Is it picking up a little bit though? You think or no?
It seems to. There is, but I have no issue. Like that game last week was over. I think it was the first game against the Islanders. It was over at 9:20. I was home at like 10 o'clock.
Oh, I watched that game too. It was over like around 7:45.
Yeah. So I'll probably sign off here shortly. But
Tom, you should broaden your horizons. They're opening up Broadway. You might want to take a date to the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good idea, Mel. Looking forward to that. So I actually have been to a Broadway show. My kids, when they were at school, had to go down to a Broadway show. So I had to go down to Lion King and Cat in the Hot Tin Roof, I think.
Oh.
I think. Yeah.
Tennessee Williams. There you go. Yeah.
Let me alert the media.
How many have you been to?
Me?
Mel? Yeah. Mel.
0.
Mr. Broadway.
Yeah, Dave Gagne and I went to Radio City Music Hall and saw Rodney Dangerfield, and I think we went to someone else, the comedian, and we went to something else, but I can't remember who it was. But
You could go with your wife. You go to separate shows, right? You go to one, you go to another one.
she went to one called, was it called Birds or something? Does that sound familiar? I don't know.
Birds. It was off Broadway. There you go.
Hey, Broadwell. How does Broadwell know every single town that I played in? He brought up freaking Binghamton. Binghamton, New York. We went right across the street was a bar called Funzies. We used to live in that place all the time. So he knew where Funzies was, for crying out loud. Smart kid, Broadwell.
It's great to have some Mel.
You got my name wrong, Willie.
Mel Lake Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, that's funny. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off.
All right, David, go ahead and have fun.
See you next week, boys.
Yeah.
Well, keep up the good work. You're looking sharp, dude.
Well, maybe they have a hat at the Square Garden tonight.
It's too funny.
Mel, did something happen to your eyes though? Seriously? Like
No, I'm good.
your wife didn't punch you or anything like that?
Nope, it's bright out. I thought everything's good.
How's everything going with the pandemic there? I heard they shut down Alberta now too, right?
Alberta's shut down. You guys are opening up everywhere, and we're getting shut down. Even we can't even go from here to Hope, which is an hour and a half east. So I can't go into the interior like Kelowna or Penticton. You have to have to be a necessary service, you know. So it's really bad. It's starting to rain here now. We can go to outdoor patios, but there's no indoor dining. The golf course yesterday it was 75 degrees, so everybody sits outside, and they're pushing everybody to get the vaccine. So they think by the end of June here, everyone in Canada will have a vaccine.
Have you got yours yet?
No, I registered and everything, and I have not got back to them. Again, I was sick for a little bit there, and I didn't want to inject myself with any more crap, so I'm waiting till I'm 100%. Thanks for asking, Tom.
You're a machine though too. Seriously, you're sick. Your fingers were cracking. Nose falling off.
I was falling apart.
Yeah. I got both the shots. Yeah. Still can't go out, but it's okay.
All right, Mel, man, you didn't have any homework done today, no notes or anything, right?
I've always got notes, but it's a matter of what I want to bring up. And it's 12:07 here, so we've gone 7 minutes over the allotted time frame.
Well, we typically do that because you have to get your time you have to have your soliloquies, right? I mean,
so I'm going to Costco in about 15 minutes. In what aisle do I go buy 20 black shirts?
they always move things around.
Do they? Okay.
Yes, that's one of Costco's methods. They don't show you where everything is. They don't have any signs because they want you to wander throughout the store and buy things.
Range of pucks. See that?
They selling pucks at Costco?
They do now. I bought these the other day, but they're like.
Oh, so I go into Costco and Pavel's working the front door there checking the cards. And he's there all the time and he's checking. He stops me. He goes, Tom, this old guy said that I wasn't supposed to let you in. That I wasn't supposed to let the bald guy in. I'm thinking, what old guy told this guy not to let me in? He says, yeah, this old guy. He's got 2 big kids. I go, Ron? Yeah, Ron. Ron told the guy at the door not to let the bald guy in.
And he knew who I was talking about.
Exactly.
That's the scary part.
Yeah. Well.
You walk in there, they got a picture of Tom Layla.
I am at Costco quite a bit.
Yeah.
So what are you buying? You're buying T-shirts? All right, Mel. Nice. Good job.
No, I certainly am not.
Is that a new black one, Tom?
Well, no. They're made to last at Costco. You buy a shirt at Costco, it lasts forever.
How do you know it's not new? I mean, how many do you have that?
Oh, I've got several. Yeah, they come in a big package. Mel's not off there. It's like 20
How
pack.
many black T-shirts you think you have, or black tops, whatever they're called?
Well, there's some that have like designs on them or something like that, but they are black based. So I guess we're looking at 20 to 25.
Oh, I call bullshit.
More?
Oh, you got more than 20 shirts.
Oh.
I might never see you wear the same shirt twice, and
Oh, sure.
I've seen you last year.
So here's an important question, Tom. You don't wear cologne. You don't wear a watch. You don't wear sunglasses. You back your stupid effing truck in backwards.
Grash has got his car back there too, by the way.
No,
What else?
his kids did that.
No, that's only because I got to get it started.
Okay, what else? Keep going.
So this is important. People want to know, what kind of deodorant do you use then?
It's called, I can't remember what it's called. I bought it at Costco. Comes in a 30 pack. You put it all over your body for the next year.
Huh.
I can't remember what it's called. I think it's Gillette or something like that.
You put it all over your body?
I'm joking, Ron.
Well, no, it'll help you. I know that. It'll probably help a lot if you could do that.
Well, guys, that was a great show. Gresh, you were unbelievable. Your cats were the star of the show. Mel, you were pretty much absent.
Average is good.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. See you, everybody.
Be safe, boy. Yeah.